Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here for the final edition of this year's Cabinet of Curiosiprompts, which is my flip through of all the cool things we made and my jibber jabber yap time about all the awesome things that happened during the course of the month. So hooray! I just want to say it was a great month. I had a great time. This was so much fun. If you did not know already, a Cabinet of Curiosiprompts is an art challenge hosted by myself and Tiff at Amethyst Raven 342. So I have to pet my cat because she walked by. So we hosted this challenge with the idea of bringing out some really cool, unique, words that maybe you haven't heard of before, or maybe you just aren't super familiar with. And we hope that they would spark some creativity. And oh my gosh, you guys, it absolutely did. So we came up with these lists. We put this together. This is my first time hosting a challenge with Tiff. It will not be my last time because it was an absolute delight. Love you. She's so cool, you guys. So if you aren't checking out Tiff at Amethyst Raven 342, why not? I think I've said her name like a bajillion times now. Go over there and check her out because she's amazing and I just love her so much. And yeah, it was a delight to co-host this challenge together with her. I had a blast and a half. So for the entire month of March, we explored some interesting words, we added stuff to our Cabinet of Curiosiprompts, and we made some stuff. So I decided it's an open art challenge. You could make anything you wanted to. Tiff and I both separately decided to make tags and then told each other after the fact. So that was kind of a funny coincidence where we both decided we were making tags. I wanted a little break after doing Moths in the Scratic to just lock in and be stuck in a single medium. So I got a little pad of watercolor paper, I chopped off the corners, made some tags, and then here we are. We have a bajillion tags. So before I start showing you guys everything I made, I want to shout out everybody who participated. In case you haven't checked them out already, there is a playlist in the description box below with all of the videos. There are 175 videos on this playlist, you guys. So there is so much creativity and inspiration that everybody just showed up to share. So I want to shout it out because in addition to myself and Tiff, of course, at Amethyst Raven 342, Bellaboo Creations joined us here on YouTube. So did Odds and Ends, that's Audrey. Mixed Media on a Shoestring with Hazel. Written in the Crafts with Zekra. There's Mystic Dawn Art. There is Mary Ellen over at Red Parrot. There is Junk Journal Magic. Elodie's Crafts and Creations. Tammy at Paper Nest Crafts. I'm sorry, I'm reading the whole thing. You guys. And Penny Pitch and Wicked Raven Journals. I just remembered that. I did not put it down because she made a community post and not a video. And I forgot to write it down. So I hope I did not just butcher her YouTube handle because she's a cool friend too. And I would feel really bad if I did that. But yeah, all these people. I think I mumbled at the end. Penny Pinch also was there. I don't know if I said that or mumbled it. Made videos and stuff and shorts and things, and they put them on YouTube, and I stuck them all into a playlist. So it's 80% videos and then 20% shorts, but they're in there. I'm gonna rearrange some of the playlists to put all the shorts at the end so that they don't stop the video if you are watching on your TV. But otherwise, it should be fine. But yeah, that's a great amount. So I loved it. I love seeing everything everybody made. They made such cool stuff. Now, if you jump over to Instagram, a couple of people were making stuff there too. And if I missed you, something is wrong because I dug in the hashtag to find everybody because Instagram is doing weird things with hashtags and just adding in all sorts of videos that the AI thinks you want to see, which is not how hashtags are supposed to work. So hopefully they fix that soon. But you had to dig to find this stuff in the hashtag. So it was a lot easier when people tagged me in their stuff because I could find it. So if I missed you, I am so sorry. Put your Instagram handle down below and I'll add it to my list of people who were participating. But over there on Instagram, you have Jen's Got a Plan, Fiona E. Barber, Miami Ed Guru, sorry, I wrote really tiny, and Abari.Mike, all made really cool stuff over there as well. So go check their things out on Instagram so you can see a bunch of visual inspiration, get a little collection of what people did with the prompts. The cool thing about this challenge was that we were all using the same prompts, but all the interpretations were all over the board. So nobody made the same thing or from the same theme and stuff like that. And it was just a lot of cool stuff. Audrey did her prompts with a spring theme, which was really cool. Junk Magic did hers like with her Lunations thing, which also did a bunch of Bigfoot stuff, and so there was like a lot of cool tie-ins and overlaps and interpretations for the prompts. So there was like just a bevy of inspiration and a bunch of different ways, a plethora, if you will, of ways to interpret these prompts. So it was so fun. Belle and Zekra combined their prompts and did like a bunch of multiple things on one. So did Hazel. So they smashed all their prompts together to make a cool new thing, which was so cool that I was like mad that I didn't do that. But I couldn't because I was hosting. So I did every single one individually. But I want to smash them all together and make something different, but I don't have time. So I have yapped enough. Let's look at what I made. So I'm going to get this out of the way. This is just a freaking HP printer box, which I think I'm going to like decorate so that I can put it in here because there's lots of room in here. So I think I'll put next year's in here as well because we are definitely coming back and doing this again next year. So yeah, I think I'll put next year's in here as well. I don't know if I'll do tags again, but it's going to go in this box. So whatever is it. So I'll decorate it so it's a little bit nicer going forward. I just didn't have time to do that after work this week. So first up, we have Somniate, where I made this cute little owl tag with this little sleepy owl and these little cradle songs and lullabies and these little stars that have some print in them. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but yeah, I definitely put my mixed media hat on for this challenge and just had a lot of fun playing with stuff. Day 2 was alopecoid, which is fox-like. I should tell you guys what the words mean. That would help you understand why I made the stuff that I did. Somniate meant to dream and make sleepy, so I made a sleepy lullaby thing. Okay, we're back. Alopecoid is fox-like, so I went with the fox colors as my inspiration as opposed to going directly fox. Don't worry, I will go directly fox later this month. So we made this cool tag. It has this really great like black and gold and shimmer and just lots of textures and fun stuff. This is like a little piece of like MDF. I was gonna make these into like a little flippy floppy book, but then I decided I didn't want to. I like them loose, so that's what it's like when you're in my brain. So that was my original plans, which is why I did the backs the way that I did, because they were going to be like the back page of the book, but I didn't do that. So here we are. Day 3 is Gallimaufry. I didn't look up the pronunciations at any point this month after like the first 2 days, and I've already forgotten those. So yeah, it is what it is. So that means a jumble and confused mixture. And I did this tag with a like just absolute truckload of embossing powder so that I could get all these like great cracks. I came up with this whole story about this soldier who died at war, but this was a picture of his love, who played like the concert cello, bass, I don't know what instruments are, and these were the strings and stuff. So that's, yeah, there was like a whole story behind this one, and I really love how this one came out. It's one of my favorites. And then we have epigram, which is a brief, interesting, or memorable, sometimes surprising or satirical statement. And so for that, I did Death's Day Off, where Death is just having a chill time. I made a really fun mixed media background using some colors I don't normally use. And I absolutely love how this came out. There's so much like visual texture that I really love it. And I also just love the stamp so much. And it was so fun to finally get to use it on something. And it says on here, I was going to do something today, but haven't finished doing nothing from yesterday. And like, go off, Death. I love this. Death's holiday is great. And then we have Anasak. I hope is how you say it. I mean, strange, rare, and unusual. And I made this like strange little scenery. This little like house and Nautilus turned giant-sized moon little scenery. It was a very simple just collage bit out of some unusual objects, but I felt like it hit the prompt, and it was just like one of those days where I just didn't feel like doing the most. So I did something, and that counts. That's like the most important thing I can ever tell you guys. Doing something is better than doing nothing. And so even if you don't feel like doing a lot, doing a little, that's something, and that counts. So that's what we did for that. And then for day 6, I have 2 in my hand, I just saw. The prompt was mercurial, which is characterized by a rapid or changing mood. And I made a little spinner card of these 2 young ladies because they have different moods. And so yeah, that was fun. It was a fun little experiment. And I also just really like how interactive this card is. This little stopper turned out to be useless in the long run, so it's just an interesting gimmick, because I don't know if you see, it spins the opposite direction. So it doesn't stop anything. But hey, you know, you live and you learn, and this was just a fun thing to play around with. So that was Mercurial. And then, what's this? This is Asteriskos, which is a little star, or asterisk. So we have our little star under magnifying glass here with this really fun, like, mixed media background with this, like, different colors of embossing powder mixed in here. This was like an old piece of wrapping paper that I got super inky. And I dream of stars that glitter. Like, that's so cute. And then we have Wood Note, which is a wild or natural musical tone as that of a forest bird. So I have this little like applique bird here singing to this little cutout paper bird on this little like really simple like collage tag. But I love this one. I just love this like little story, this little vignette of these two birds singing to each other, sharing their wood notes. It's really cute. And then we have my favorite tag for this entire challenge, I think, which is a little early projection because there's other ones I also like, but this is in my top 5 for sure, towards the top 3 actually. But this is the tag for the prompt oxymoron, which is 2 contradictory words paired together, and I chose one of my favorite songs, which is by Rob Zombie, which is Living Dead Girl. So I made a Living Dead Girl. So there's the graveyard on this acetate, and then in the background we have our Living Dead Girl, and we did like this like alcohol and paint background, and then I embossed some organs in the back here, so you can see like some of the spotting from that alcohol background. And it just came out really cool. I love this. I love the vibe. It's so moody. It's so fun. Like, I could do a whole journal about her, but I don't have time right now. Don't ask me to. Ask me to do it, like, in July. Not right now. So up next we have synodic, which is relating to or involving the conjunction of stars, planets, or other celestial objects. So I made something that was literally about the conjunction of planets, stars, and objects by highlighting some movements of the planets. So I cut all of these out. These are from my like Heavenly Bodies kit, which is like a bunch of different planets that I like painted up and drew. So I cut them all out, put them together, and then made them like fun and flippy and interactive, from the sun to Mercury all the way out here to little Pluto, to just get, you know, the entire motion of the planets down. You have the moon back here. Like, I love this. I also did like a holographic black background, which is really fun for space. And this one is just fun because it's so interactive. Like, that's a good time. And then we have Nijik, which is pertaining to memory. So I have, like, my little focus. I don't know if it's going to pick up because this pink is so vibrant. Like, I don't know if you guys can see the watercolor lines in the background of this, like, sparkly lines. That's brains. That's brains in the background. And then we did some gears for like the brain's inner workings, and then we did a little brain, and it says the power of thinking, thoughts that whisper to my heart, for thy sweet love remembered, because those are all things that your brain does. It remembers and thinks, and you have thoughts. So like that's there. It's a very pink tag. It is the only tag that is this color in the entirety of it. Probably the brightest one I've made, at least definitely up to this point. Well, I mean, I guess, like, the red is also very vibrant, but it's, like, a totally different tone, you know? Like, it stands out so much, and I kind of love it for that. And then we have Corvine, which is crow-like, relating to ravens and crows. And so I decided to do, like, a little take on the 3 wolf moon meme by doing 3 crow moon. And so, yeah, or 3 corvid moon, because one of these is a crow, and one of these is a raven, and one of them I could go either way on, but I'm pretty sure it's a raven. But yeah, we did a little watercolor, sort of night sky, galaxy type background, added in a moon, and just cut out some crows to be the 3 corvid moon. And I love this one too. It's also one of my favorites. Actually, it's one of your guys' favorites, because I think it's one of the most watched videos, so like, thank you for that. I love that. Up next we have thaumaturgy, which is the working of wonders or miracles and magic. So I did my little, like, magical witch card, doing magical witchy things. She's unlocking a heart. I used a color that I don't particularly like, which is purple, and so I kind of brought that to the forefront, because it is a color often associated with magic, but I don't love purple. But I used it, and I like how this card came out, so that, you know, was a great way to work. Also got to use up some supplies, which was a big thing for me, was using up stuff I already had on hand. And then we have foxing, which is the yellow-brown age seen in the pages of old books, where I taught you guys how to make a little origami fox, and did a foxing like ombre background, so you guys could see like the different degrees of foxing of that yellow browning on old book page. And then we did our fox out of book page as well. Look at he's so cute. So yeah, that was my first origami tutorial. I don't know if you guys know, but I happen to love origami, so I shared it with you. And then we have another one of my super favorites. This is also top 5 for sure. This is Noctivagent, which is wandering at night, often used of birds or animals, where we made, this is like another one of those printed acetate cards. We did some stamping in the background, stuck the acetate on top, and then cut out the tree silhouette at night, and then I fussy cut out these little stamped Halloween trick-or-treater guys, like this little big brother taking his little bro out trick-or-treating because they're wandering at night, and they're so cute. And it's also like, I don't know, the black and white just makes this like elite to me. It's giving old like scary movie, old B movie type stuff, and it's so cute. I love this one a lot. So that was fun to play with and explore. And then the next one we have is Shinrin Yoku, which is the forest bath. A visit to the forest to take in its atmosphere. So I went a little more literal with like the experience of bathing in said forest, and like looking up through the trees as the light is like coming through the leaves and stuff. So we layered in a bunch of stuff using Distress Oxide as opposed to watercolor, because I've done this technique with watercolor, but I've never done it with oxide ink, so this was like an experiment for me. And then I just embossed the last couple of leaves here. It says long walks, crisp forest, and golden splendor. So like to catch the vibe of like wandering through the forest and taking a proper forest bath. So like, yeah, I love this one. I think it's really pretty. And then we have Fervent, which is having or displaying a passionate intensity, hot, burning, or glowing. And I just want to say for this video, you guys, I really like hemmed and hawed about whether or not I was going to like put that message out there. And I just really appreciate all the support. The real ones came through, and I love you guys for that. I thought it was going to like destroy my channel, and it didn't. I only lost like 2 people in the fray, and like, goodbye. You know what I mean? So like, I just want to say I really appreciate you guys. I'm really proud of the audience that I've cultivated here, and that you guys were cool enough to hang around. So I love you guys. You know what I mean? So we did a cool mixed media background. I did some stamping and embossing and fussy cut this out, and then I expressed my own personal sentiments about it and just sort of put my feelings onto paper, and that was a really emotional tag for me. So like, I'm going to cherish this one for a really long time. And then up next we have Malefic, which is harmful, damaging, or causing ill effects. It's not necessarily evil, more like troublesome influence. And I went with toxicity, poisonous things, what did I say? Pollution. That was it. So I made these like noxious, dead zombie leaves, and then put them on this like toxic green background. So you guys can see some of the details there. They're like embossed and distressed, and like just, oh man, we had a time making these. There's texture paste on here, all sorts of stuff to make these slimy, toxic, like ooze type leaves, which is also a very cool effect I would love to revisit for something else. And then we have Nazarene. And you guys, this is also another one of my top 5. I don't know how many is left in my top 5. My top 5 might end up being 7 or 8. But for Nazarene, it is a dark blue color, a rich blue or reddish blue color. And I got this image from the Polaroid book, and it was giving sort of like Hecate vibes. But then like, we just made the coolest background here that I have yet to properly recreate, but I have been trying. And we did just a little bit of embossing in blue, and like altogether it was a very simple process, like very straightforward, but I just really love the effect. I love this color blue, how vibrant it is. I love like the photos and just the way it all looks together. So yeah, this is one of my favorites too. And then we have entomology, which is the branch of zoology concerning with the study of insects. And for this we did a watercolor double stamped like effect. So I used my metallic watercolors to stamp out to paint in these stamped out bugs, and then stamped again over the top of them to get the impression correct. And I love them. I think this tag is so fun. I added in some like bug stickers to cover up some errors in my part, and we also added entomology, which is the only one that I think has the word for the Curiosiprompt on it. Everything else I put on the back, so this one got double words. But I do like how the bugs sort of stand out on top of it, but also blend in with the colorful background. So like, yeah, this was cool. This was fun. I love this. I love bugs. So I was happy with this one a lot. And then we have lunation, which is a lunar cycle, especially the new or full moon phases. And I was inspired by Zikra over at Written in the Crafts, what she did. And I was like, I kind of want to do this thing for myself too. So like we both had the same idea, different executions, but we got there together in the end. And that's what matters. And this is like a spinning little little capture of the moon phases. So like if I wanted to time the moon phases, I absolutely could. And like, yeah, that was really fun. It was very simple. I got to use some paper that I've been hoarding for quite a while and just make something that highlights the phases of the moon in a way that I haven't done before, and learn the importance of making sure that your circle is aligned, because I didn't do that. But yeah, that's lunation. And then we have Pantagruelian, where I shared one of my niche interests with you guys and made a creature from the SCP online story archive thing. I'm not going to explain it all again. It was a big explanation. You want to know? Go check out the video. But we made a sea creature. We had an ocean background with like the sea foam and everything like that. I also love this background so much. It is so cool. And we used a horseshoe crab as our Leviathan, because that's what this was. This was Leviathan coming ashore. And so yeah, I love it. I think it came out really great. And then we have Argle Bargle, which is copious but meaningless talk or writing, where I had to play with blackout poetry, but like a little bit nonsensical. And we did some stamping and embossing to sort of highlight the like, I don't know, craziness of it, the wildness of it. So I'm going to read it to you guys. It's his words cracked with fear. Is that true? She lies. The man touched fire. Does he speak the truth? Constructed of a lie. A chorus of horns answered, we have nothing else to gain here. Leave the girl. And that is my Argle Bargle, which is something that almost makes sense. And somebody pointed out, it sounds like a conversation that you like overhear, which I think is a good take on like Argle Bargle. I know it's supposed to be like, well, it means talk and writing, so it's covered. But it's like, you know, if you are sort of catching snatches of like snippets of a conversation, like that's kind of what that poem like reminds me of. So I think, yeah, I think we did it. And then after that we have Gimcrack, which is a showy but useless trinket. So like in my determination to use up as much of this these like x-ray acetates that I keep getting every year at Michael's, I pulled out this one because it has this hourglass with the snake inside, and I was like, that's a useless trinket. And I was like, also during this challenge I need to make a shaker tag, so that's what I did, was make a shaker tag. We inked up the background, made our own little frame to hold the whole tag in place, and then it shakes. And I think that is also fun because a shaker tag is also a showy but useless trinket. So like, yeah, double layers. We got it all in place here, and we have our cool little tag, and I love how that came out. And then we have Anthracinius. I think it's Anthracinius. I kept adding extra ends to it. I realized at the end of the video when it was too late to take it back, but I think it is Anthracinius, which means having a dark black hue like that of charcoal, where we literally used some charcoal and did some embossing, like folder. This is the cranking motion of my embossing machine. That was how I was going to illustrate to you that a folder was used on this. So there's some 3D texture is what I wanted to like illustrate, and then I went over it with some like some wax, and then I went over it with the graphite, sealed that all in, and we did this cool like little collage with like some other stuff that was also black, because I was determined to use up some stickers in here, and we blended a bunch of styles together in a way that I just find very, very satisfying. So I also have this in my top 5. If you guys are keeping track, tell me if I've exceeded the limit of 5 yet, because I feel like maybe I have. And then I added some sparkly stuff to it, because of course I want it to be sparkly, so we use these holographic stickers as well. I should stop moving it so you guys can see the details. And yeah, that is Anthracinius. And then we have Widdershins, which is moving counterclockwise, associated with bad luck or magic, and this is where I made this little like sliding heart guy, which was working smoother the other day, but I think it's all set in now. There it goes. You just had to get it warmed up. That's how this works. But it says dedicate. It's got this little heart. This background is so cool. The heart background is cool. I love how this, like the textures in this, chef's kiss. I love it. Delicious. The process of making it, so frustrating, but so satisfying to finally like finish it and accomplish it and be able to move this Widdershins in like a fun decorative way. I'm going to move it here so it doesn't get caught on anything. And that, my friends, is Widdershins. And also, funnily enough, Belle did the same type of thing for her Widdershins prompt, but in a different take. So, like, you guys, I just want to say, there's a bajillion different ways to interpret these, but the fact that we came up with the same idea to do the same type of technique, but totally different interpretations of that is just so satisfying to see somebody else do the same thing that you were doing better and also in a different way. It was just really fun. But you can have the same idea and still have different interpretations. So, like, that's just something to consider if you're worried about coming across as like you know, like overlapping or stepping on somebody's toes because you did the same thing. You're not. You have a totally different perspective and different like interpretation. So your thing is going to come out different every time, no matter what. At any rate, I did not mean to sidetrack that, but here we are. So we're at 27. The prompt for that was Mirabilia, which is the odd, uncanny, and inexplicable. So I have this cool like groovy girl with rats in her hair. She's also eating a rat. We did a little inking, a little stamping. We embossed the background and the foreground. Also embossed her hair. Used the embalming glaze for this one, and I love how it came out. It's just a fun, quirky tag that I think does the thing. The odd, uncanny, and inexplicable. I don't know why she's eating the rats. They look like they're living happily in her hair, but I love it. And then we have Solasta, which is luminous and shining, and we did some gilding of this man. Not of the man, we gilded the tag. We did a really pretty blue background and then did this really fun like foiling effect on it, and I love how this came out. It's so like thought-provoking because like what's he looking at, what's he thinking about? I came up with the whole story about how the sun was exploding and he's completely unbothered but still like very lost in thought as it's happening in the background behind him. And I just like I feel very thoughtful like when I look at this. So like I don't know what it was, but this one pulled up some emotions for me. And then on day 29 we did epistolary, which is relating to letters or letter writing, and I chose to do an envelope. And it's an actual envelope. I stuck an actual envelope to this, so it has that like pillowiness, you know, of like an envelope that's been closed, you know, where you're like, what's inside? It feels like that. There's nothing inside because I sealed it all up. Did a little wax sealing, did a little key to open it there, and just did a little leaf because, you know, you like to lock those underneath your wax seals and stuff. And we made it really old looking and grunged it up and had a lot of fun. These little wax bubbles came out really cute. And I really like this one. I think it's really pretty. It has a nice like vintage-y vibe to it. And then for day 30, for russet, we did reddish brown, autumnal, and cozy. So I did like autumn steampunk. And we did this foiled background. We inked it up. I made these like embossed leaves, and then I spent a bajillion years fussy cutting this girl out of a sticker so that I could use her as my little focal point, which was very satisfying. I love how this one came out. I think it's so fun. It's so like shiny and stuff, and I want to do more steampunky things, so like that was exciting to just sort of play with. Also, I used a ton of scraps to make this background, so like that's also very satisfying as well. And then last but not least, but the end of the road for this year at least, is lichenous, meaning covered in or resembling lichen. And for that, I took a bunch of lace, I slapped it down here, and then I painted it up to look like lichen. So I'll get you guys nice and close so you can see. I used the colors of lichen and sort of inked this in to look like a wall of lacy lichen, and I love this one. The textures are nice. The lace is like really firmed up from like all the gesso and paint on it, so like yeah, that came out really great. And yeah, it just was a fun way to like turn something into something else. So I made the lace into lichen, and that was the last one for a Cabinet of Curiosiprompts. That's going to be it for me, you guys, today. Thank you again for hanging in there, for joining in the fun. Even if you weren't crafting along with me, like just the fact that you were hanging out and watching the videos and commenting and liking and stuff. People were hyping my videos, which is crazy. I don't really understand the hype thing yet. I mean, like I understand it conceptually, but like I don't understand it because I'm elderly, I guess. I don't know. But I saw it because YouTube was like, hey, people hyped your video, and I was like, wait a minute. they're doing that for my videos, which just feels like extra special. So like that's really nice, you know. So I appreciate you guys for that, and all the likes and the shares, the new subscribers who joined me. Like, thank you guys so much for that. This was so much fun, and I cannot wait to do this again with you guys next year. It was a blast and a half. I already started talking to Tiff about it because I was like, is it too early to start working on prompts for next year? Which it absolutely is. But like, that's how much fun I had doing this challenge. I was ready to like jump back in and do it again. But there is more for me to come, so don't worry, you guys. If you were looking forward to like what's gonna happen on the channel, I'm gonna take like a week, you know, chill out a little bit, and then it's back into the studio. We're gonna be crafting and stuff. So I got stuff coming. I got a plan. I got a plan, Stan, okay, and it's coming down the pipe to you. That's a weird way to say that. Don't clip that. That's weird. It is coming to your viewing pleasure TV something. Words are so hard, and I think I've run out of them. So I'm gonna go before I say weirder things. But I just want to say thanks again for joining me. Everyone who like crafted, everyone who did it and just watched. Thank you guys. You guys are the best, and you just make this like so worthwhile and satisfying. And I just love our little crafty community here. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. I appreciate your faces, and until next time, happy crafting and goodbye.